Hi, Crystal here from Space to Love, and I'm with one of my clients, Renae Jacobs, and we're going to talk about, which I'm so excited that you're here, because most people don't say that I hired you. Like, don't tell anybody. So it's really great that you want to talk about your experience. And so what made you finally decide to actually hire a professional organizer? And are you happy that you did it?
I'm not happy I hired a professional organizer. I'm happy I hired you.
Oh, well. Thank you.
I actually had an organizer come a number of years ago. It was not the joyful experience that I found this time. We had fun.
I try to make it fun. I always say organizing is fun, and everyone's like, yeah, fun for you. And I'm like, no, again, it's going to be a good experience, I swear. But you don't know until you get in there.
Nope.
So
No, you don't. You don't.
Ah, well, I'm glad.
You know, I just got fed up with not being able to find anything. And my son came home from school and he was very frustrated in the kitchen because he uses the kitchen.
Right.
Unlike me.
Right.
Although I use it now. I think it just knowing that you were there and that I should do this, and it's like making a decision for your health. You know,
right.
You might know that you've got some kind of condition or you need to exercise, but at some point something pushes you.
Right.
And I just was finally at that brink.
And I always tried to compare myself to a personal trainer, right? Because if you have a gym membership, which you sort of had a gym membership for a year, but you didn't have your personal trainer,
right?
But then you got your personal trainer, and then you finally started showing up, right? And then things started happening.
Right, and the fact is that you make a commitment every morning to yourself, I'm going to eat right and I'm going to exercise. But if you don't have a partner to meet you on the curb to go run, it's really easy to stay in bed.
Yeah.
So this is very much like that. Making that commitment and signing that dotted line.
You're doing a package. We have to use these hours.
Yeah, you have to do that in order to be motivated.
Yep.
And you were my partner.
Yep. And I made you accountable. Right. We're going to get this done.
Yes.
This is what we're going to do, and it's going to be great. And it's going to be fun.
Yes. And I appreciated that about you because just making the commitment to move forward with that.
I think a lot of people always have that apprehension in the beginning. I don't know if I want somebody in my space. I'm going to feel judged. What are they going to say about my stuff, right?
Right.
So when we started the process, when do you think that feeling kind of subsided, that you didn't feel, or did you feel judged? Did you feel like this is the worst thing ever?
Well, before I answered the doorbell, I did. And then you came in and you're just so warm and loving and kind and not judgmental. And you just were so easy about it. You just said, okay, we're just going to take a look and see what you've got. And it was wonderful. I think within the first couple of minutes, I just kind of forgot all that anxiety and felt like, okay, we can do this. And it was great.
That's great. See, I'm so glad you're sharing this, because I know there's a lot of people out there that could use a professional organizer and they're just scared to get started.
Yes, scared and a lot of other adjectives. And you think, well, okay, I don't need to pay somebody to help me, right? Because I can do it. You never do it.
Yes.
Or I'm going to call one of my friends, which is the worst thing ever. I mean, I have a girlfriend who I would have called, right? Because she loves to organize. And after we were all done, she came over and she went, oh my God, you have a desk. I had no idea you had a desk. I'm like, that would have been a really bad experience. I don't think we would have been friends anymore.
Right, yeah, I think, we're very attached to our things. We don't want somebody being like, you don't need that, get rid of it. They don't ask you the right questions sometimes, and I also think they might have some attachment to your own things, like when you're doing your closet and like, oh, I think I'm gonna get rid of that shirt, and you're like, no, I love you in that shirt, you should totally keep it. Where they're making decisions for you, where you really should be making the decisions. So I think that's really important.
Absolutely.
So what did you find exciting about doing the pantry? Or was there anything exciting?
Well, it was funny how you cook, how you live. I stay out of the kitchen. And it looked like I stayed out of the kitchen.
Right, yes. Okay, I know my little game that I play that I don't know if anyone else really appreciates or if you appreciate, but I like finding the oldest expiration date.
Oh, we had
right?
such a good time. About 90% of the things in my cabinet were from 1992.
Maybe not. I don't think we found. Did we find anything from the 90s? No, maybe just the one. But yes, in the pantry we did find some things that might have been out of date.
We did.
But you know, when things get pushed in the back, you don't think about it. You don't remember that it's there. You don't have time to really go through all that stuff. So you just go shopping again.
Constantly. Right? So 12 cans of corn later, I
not
realized
expired.
not expired. It was great because the way we organized would never be the way I would think of organizing it. We, again, like with like, we took all the cans of corn and all the refried beans and all the pasta sauce and all the pastas and put them in the same row and labeled them so I knew where to put them back. It's refreshing. You kind of like breathe easier when you pull the drawer open and you see exactly what you have. It's amazing. And like the herbs, I had spices in there from forever. And I had 5 or 6 different jars of pepper or cumin or things I don't even know what the spice was.
That I think is like perfect because, you know, you're always using usually the same spices, but you can't find it. So you're going and buying the one that you need for the recipe. And also when you think about when you're going shopping, just like you said, like, oh, I have like the 5 cans of corn. I don't need the, you know, and so when you're going to make your shopping list, you're going to the store, you know exactly what you need. And this is where you're saving money because you're not overbuying and then you're not getting stressed out over it.
I get stressed out in the grocery store.
Yeah. Most people do.
I prefer not to go.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the pantry, and now we're going to talk about doing the drawers. So there's a lot of interesting things in the drawers in the kitchen. You know, how many spatulas you have, how many, you know, can openers, right? But okay, so when we did the pantry, I feel like the decision making wasn't that hard, right? If we knew what was expired, we were going to get rid of, and maybe things that you just didn't like or just were stale or whatever, we threw out, and then I organized it for you. But when we were making decisions with the things in your drawers, how did you feel about that process?
You were just so kind and sweet and not judgmental, which is very helpful. And you started opening the drawers and said, oh, okay, and here we go, okay, we got knives here, here, and here, okay, and on the counter. But it wasn't, I'm being funny, it was not judgmental at all, it was kind. And so what was great was you didn't just dump the drawer. You took all the carrot peelers, all the 7 carrot peelers,
yes,
and the soup ladles, and the knives, and all of the different things that I've used in the kitchen, but realized once you laid them out, oh my goodness, no wonder I have 6 of these carrot peelers because I couldn't find them.
All right, we're doing drawers today, which is kind of fun. We have our work cut out for us here. We're going to start taking everything out because that's how you always start with, take everything out. And once we get everything out on the counter here, we're going to start sorting things and put like with like. So all of your spatulas, we'll start putting those together. And then we have any spoons. We have a masher, hopefully we just have one, but we'll see. And then knives together. And then basically, like I say, pick the best, get rid of the rest. So that's what we're gonna do.
And it was great.
I love that you mentioned, you know, putting like with like, because I always say that when I'm trying to explain how we're gonna do the process. How am I gonna make these decisions? Like, why am I having me here? Is it gonna make it easier for you? So I think that's one of the things, and you like explained it perfectly. It's like once you see all of your items together, grouped together, then you can say, okay, I use this for this, I use this for this, all the rest can go, right? And I always say, like, pick the best, get rid of it. Okay, so are you
I am, because it's too funny.
Okay, well, we have our bar stuff, so we're gonna put that in one area.
Okay.
This is a perfect example, like all these peelers, you know, and they're bulky, so they take up a lot of space. So we really will maybe just keep 2 of those. Like I said, keep the best, get rid of the rest. And that's going to just free up so much space.
And it absolutely made a huge difference. And I would have never approached it that way. I wouldn't have done it. I would have just actually what I would have done is opened the drawers and then closed them and gone back upstairs.
That's
good intention.
I think that's another great example that you keep when you're saying is, I never would have approached it that way. right? So when we think, I like to think that we're, as a professional organizer, I'm transferring skills to you. So now I feel like you could take this process and maybe apply it somewhere else, right? So if you decide like, I'm gonna do my shoes today, and then you'll know like, okay, I'm gonna put all my sneakers together and do like, so you can start taking this process and using it somewhere else.
You can, but the other thing about having someone as terrific as you is that sometimes it just gets overwhelming, even though it's like with like if you're going, now I'm on my own, right? Okay, right. I go under the cabinet in my bathroom and I go, oh, I see what I have, but I don't want, how do I part with the 12 different lotions I have?
Right.
So you really need somebody who's non-judgmental, who's kind, who when you want to walk away says, okay, why don't you take a break for a minute and we'll come back and we'll revisit this. And you gave me that space to, and the timing was good. The first time we got together, we did a couple of hours and I was like, oh, I need a drink. and then the second time we went a little longer and I didn't need a drink.
Right.
And as we progressed, I think our last
our last day was 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours, and we were good. And so it's kind of like exercising. At first it hurts, and then later you build up and you get your stamina.
I think, and that's, and I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of people realize like, let's just do it in 5 hours, and it's like, well, maybe let's not do that for the first day.
No, you're right.
Because decision making can be very overwhelming, and it's very tiring. And people don't realize how much goes into it because not only it's like emotional, it's, and just there's only so many decisions you can make a day. And plus it is really physical. So even when people do try to do this on their own, it's nice to have the help.
It really is.
Yeah.
I needed help.
Yeah.
I always need help.
There's always something that we have a lot of. And for someone it could be the 20 bottles of shampoo or whatever, and you buy things, you get gifts, and you don't even realize what you have anymore. And yours was
wine.
Lots and lots of wine.
How many bottles did I have?
Oh God, there was and we also prime real estate too, so all these wine bottles were in the cabinets in the kitchen, like right above the desk, where like this would be great for something that you'd be using every day, not for something you don't even touch. So that was a perfect example of prime real estate, and they were stored standing up. So what would happen was somebody would bring a bottle or two of wine. We were having an event, dinner, but I'd already bought wine and I'd already opened the wine. So you're gonna open more wine? Right. So I would take the wine and just quickly put it in the cabinet and it would keep pushing it to the back, to the back, to the back, and all standing up. So by the time we got to those wines, they were pretty bad. There was some, and and some wines are great aged, and we did find some great ones that are going to be exciting when you get to them. But the other ones, like I think our oldest one was like 1986 or something.
It was a good year.
Yeah, except it was a Chardonnay. So.
I remember that going down the drain.
Yeah, so we're like, we can't really save that one. So, but I feel it was great that all the wines we did open, that I was like, these are definitely not good. They actually were
right.
Good.
You were right.
So
you really know your wines.
It was really
so that helped, and you don't really want to part with something that you think could be good, but if you don't know. So that was, and boy, did we open up the space.
Yeah.
And then the wines that were good, we put in what I had originally planned as a wine rack, and they all went there nicely and labeled. So now I know if I want a Merlot, I take it out, and then I could replace it with a Merlot. Yeah. And the other day we had a nice bottle of wine that had been sitting in the cabinet. It was astounding to be confident to know that you were going to open it. It wasn't going to stink up the house.
Yeah.
And you could serve it. It was great. Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite projects, actually, because it was something that I felt like I could contribute, even though like I'm a professional organizer, but also my love for wine. So that was really fun.
It was great. I appreciate that so much.
Good.
Hi, I'm Renae Jacobs, and I just want to say that could never have done this huge project without you. I appreciate your style and your grace and your kindness and your love and your passion for this, because you bring enthusiasm and a real happiness about doing this, which to me seemed like drudgery. I would definitely recommend you to everyone. And I've got a lot more work to do. It's going to be fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.